something in your journey in the past that you would change that has brought you to where you are today?
I feel that there are things which I wish could have happened differently, but at the end of the day, that's your journey, right? The choice, life is about choices. Perhaps I made choices I shouldn't have. I don't know, but I'm on my journey or on your journey. This is where I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't been through all of those things. So, you know, I try not to regret. I do regret, but I try not to. So, this is all part of self-awareness and growing as a person. And, you've just got to do the best you can with where you are.
Hello, and welcome to Indian Explorers. In this podcast, we talk about Indian success stories. I am Sabrina, and together with my co host Amit, we will get to understand the journey of our guests and what drives them. The optimism, patience, idealism, and courage are the attributes of theirs that we want to bring to life in these conversations. If you enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Hey, how's it going?
Sabrina, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, very good. Today's a national holiday in Chile, so I'm about to go for a nice barbecue. How about yourself?
Nice, that's fun.
How about yourself?
You know what? Enjoying the day. Enjoying the day. Looking forward to this guest today. Um, I don't have any wins or fails.
Yeah,
I'm like status quo right now.
I don't really have much to discuss today, Sabrina, but I'm a little bit sad about what's happening in North Africa. Morocco had the earthquake with over 2,000 dead, and the earthquake, it was under 6.8 on the Richter scale. 6.8 on the Richter scale. 6.8 in Chile is a regular Monday afternoon. It's nothing's going to happen in Chile. Yeah, absolutely nothing's going to happen in Chile with 6.8. Some people won't even feel it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The construction here, since we had a big earthquake 15, 20 years ago, every building here is solid. It has to be over 8.5, 9 for things to shake around here.
That's huge.
Yeah. No, it's good construction in Chile, and next to Morocco is Algeria, and next to Algeria is Libya, right? I'm saying this because most people don't know in a world map where these countries are, and Libya just had the massive flooding that's going on, and I think it's not one but two dams because of the amount of rain that they had. Basically just collapsed, and they're saying there'll be over 20,000 people dead expected. Over 10,000 have already been confirmed, but by the time this airs, there'll be 25,000 people dead in Libya. And I feel like the media, the media is not talking much about it, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like the media is not. What does the media pick and choose is they're going to cover? Is it based on money? Like what is more appealable to their viewers based on financial? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I think when people are dying to this level, I think it should be front page of every publication because of the suffering that is happening. Even I find the Ukraine war, I find people are not talking about it anymore. And
no, a year after, and really we're not talking about it.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. And you know what's really sad as well in Morocco? I don't know who the ruler is in Morocco, the king, whatever his name is. Uh, there's a lot of anger towards him because a lot of countries have wanted to help him and wanted to bring, rescue workers and aid. And for the first 2 days, I don't know if he was in shock or what, but he rejected right next door, Algeria, the nearest country, the neighbor. They offered immediate help, and he said no. Now, I know there are political differences between the countries, but for political differences, when it comes to this type of disaster, you got to cut your ego and just take any help you can get.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, it's a sad thing, and I don't know what the news is deciding to cover or not, so many sad things. But when you said 10,000, 20,000 people estimated deaths, that's incredible.
I think it was 200,000 people are displaced. Over 20,000 will be dead. I mean, the numbers are staggering, and now they're saying with all the dead bodies that are not going to be able to be recovered, all the viruses are going to be
Yeah.
formed, and that's going to cause more death in that area. And I think it's because
Yeah.
it's Africa. Um, I genuinely think it's because it's an African country and not South Africa or Egypt, where the tourists and the West go and visit. I think that's why
Yeah.
it's not so well covered in the media. And yeah, it's something I just wanted to point out. On a more lighter, positive note, do you watch the All In Summit, this All In pod?
No, I don't. I've
Yeah,
heard about it. I think I hit subscribe, but I haven't been listening. What's
yeah.
going on with
So
that?
it's pretty entertaining. It's I know Chamat. It's four guys. They're good friends. They used to play poker together, and then during COVID, they came up with the idea of doing the podcast. I believe 3 out of 4 are billionaires. Maybe all four are, but they're all fairly wealthy guys. Private jets and things like that. And once a year, they do a summit, and the summit happened last week. And in the summit, they call influential people to give presentations. And I just saw the last presentation on YouTube, and it's a must see presentation for anybody in business worldwide. There's a guy called Bill Gurley.
Bill
He
Gurley.
used to be an analyst. Bill Gurley. He used to be an analyst at Credit Suisse for 3-4 years, and now he's a venture capitalist at Benchmark. Benchmark is, up there with Sequoia, one of the top names in the VC space. And he gave a presentation, which he said has taken him 15 years of notes. Uh, and in the presentation, he talks about corrupt politicians, and he talks about every time Americans try and do regulation, that actually
Mhm.
regulation is done to protect the customer, but it always ends up being a net loss to the customer. And he talks about COVID and anti-regulation, Facebook, Google. And I'm not going to get into details because I won't be able to do it justice, but I will ask the producers to look it up and put it in our show notes, because it really
Okay,
is the most impressive presentation I've seen in decades.
great. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm going to share you the link. That's all I have to say,
Perfect.
Sabrina. I'm very
All right.
excited about
Well,
today's guest as well. Why don't you do the intro?
maybe this Mr. Bill Gurley will hear our episode and invest in our guest today. So let's get to it. So today I'm really excited to have our guest, Nimrita Dadlani. She is the founder of Pivot, a technology platform to help people going through a relationship breakdown, separation, and divorce. Nimrita is a mother and a businesswoman. She was married for 14 years, has 2 young children who live with her, and this is where Pivot all began. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Amit and
I know.
Sabrina.
Of course.
Lovely to be here.
How,
Thank you.
how are you doing? When was the last time we met? Decades ago.
In person, years and years ago, decades, definitely.
Okay. Well, I'm
Definitely.
glad we're doing this because I love talking about taboo topics. Separation and relationship breakdowns and divorce. I know for a lot of people it's a time of difficulty, but I don't know why I enjoy these topics.
Yeah, things which are hard to talk about are always, interesting to talk about too.
Yeah. So before we get into Pivot, why don't we get a sense of what happened in that brain of yours to come up with such an idea? Because I find it's such a cool niche that I think it's under tapped. So can you tell us like how you came up with this idea?
Sure. So, well, as you said, I was married for a long time, for 14 years. I got married pretty young. I was in my mid 20s. And, I went through a challenging marriage. And, when I ended up separating from my ex husband, I saw that there was a real lack of holistic support for people who are going through separation and divorce. And, you're kind of put into this position, into this, you're in this life stage and you really just don't know what to do. And people end up talking to lawyers and taking treating your lawyer like they're your therapist, and it's that's first of all unaffordable, and it's not that there was just a lack. I felt that there was a lack of support. So while I
So
went
what
through
did you
it.
do?
So
How
what
old were you, and what did you do?
before, as in professionally?
No, like you mentioned that you just been separated after 14 years of a
Yeah.
marriage. You have two children. I want to know
Yes.
what you did, uh, to overcome this. What did you listen to podcasts? Did you speak to your
Well,
parents?
yes. So I separated from my husband about 2.5 years ago. It was February 2021, and actually, it was the same month my father was in ICU, and it all kind of happened at the same time. Where I separated from my husband, and my father sadly passed away the following month, and I was really looking for a lot of support at that time, and I spent a lot of time with family and I just kind of tried to get through the process. And while doing so, I listened to a lot of motivational speakers. I listened to podcasts. I spent a lot of time, effort, and money on self care and like trying to kind of bring myself out of this, out of the position and the situation I was in. And through that process, I realized that there has to be a better way through this process rather than and it was very fragmented. It's really hard to find information, especially in the UK where I'm based. It's very hard to find the information. It's there's no, it's people are going to Google, they're going to Facebook groups, they're talking to friends. There's no, like, there are very few there's not an easy way to find all the information, and like the government website, it's all very fragmented. And I just I felt that there should be something better out there, so I
Got
thought
it.
I would build it.
And COVID, you said February 2021.
So
When
it
was
was like
COVID?
the tail end of COVID, I would say. There was still I was in Dubai at the time actually because my dad lived there, so I was just visiting him for a few months. And I had gone there, as a family with my ex-husband and with my kids, and was visiting my dad. And we ended up being there for about 4 months. It was the tail end of COVID. And then came back to London where I'm based, and that was about April 2021. And fast forward, here we are.
I was I was looking, or I was doing some research on, divorce statistics and things like that sort. I'd like to take it back a little bit. Was your marriage a love marriage or was it arranged?
My marriage was a love marriage. Yeah, it was a love marriage.
Love marriage.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you were dating for, a few
A
years.
couple of years, like, it was, there were probably a few red flags in that time period as well. Met my ex-husband when I was about 20, got married, and I was at university in the States at the time, and, away from my family. I'd also, lost my mum just a few years before. So, I was probably quite vulnerable, and at a, I was definitely not ready to meet the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I didn't know who that person should be, or and probably today I'm a different person. So
You were
yeah,
back then.
yeah. But it was a
Sabrina, what are
love
you
marriage.
implying? What are you implying with the stats of arranged marriage versus love marriage and
You
divorces?
know, I the divorce rate here in the US now is between 40 and 50%, right? And I was reading that for second marriages in the US, I'm only speaking for the US, is even higher than that. And I was wondering if our parents and our grandparents were onto something with arranged
I
marriages.
mean,
Because nowadays,
for sure.
I don't know.
Uh,
I married young, married at 24. Thankfully we're still married. But, if my daughter came to me when she was, at 18, 19, when I met my husband then, and said, I'm in love, this is the man I'm going to marry, I feel like you're crazy. You don't know what love is yet. You're
mhm,
18, but
yeah.
it's worked for me. So I don't know. Do our grandparents was their way the right way?
I mean, my parents' marriage was arranged, and they were very, very happily married. So that's all I could say, really. I've seen it work well that way. So
Sabrina, we had love marriages. Are you like scaring me?
Like I said, I've been married 21 years now. And thankfully, like, yeah, like every marriage we have our ups and downs, but I'm not ready to go to pivot for advice,
Mm.
but I'm glad we're talking about this because how many people listening to this might say, hey, I don't want to do what you call, Nimrita, the DIY um, divorce. I don't want to do it myself. I need help, and they'll come to pivot, right?
But I
Um,
think I think it would help to read this. Like I think if I read Pivot, it would help me in my marriage as well. Is
Yeah,
that
I
not?
mean, I think that what we're trying to offer is actually just a holistic platform to support people through the journey of, separation, divorce, and, also hopefully before that, before that you get to that point with also like relationship support, it's also a platform for with content and educational content and access to community and coaching. We're really trying to support the individual through this process. So
I
Got it.
did see there's parenting
yeah,
advice, like
we have a
Where are you
parenting and
today?
parenthood.
Is the company is a product live? Is it downloadable on an app store worldwide?
no,
Is it
no,
revenue generating? Just tell us where
no.
you are today.
Sure. So as I said, it's actually not been a huge amount of time, since I've separated from my ex-husband maybe 2.5 years ago. About a year after that, summer last year, I kind of thought I was just, put my kind of entrepreneurial hat on and was like, there has to be something more in the space. And so I started fundraising at the beginning of this year. So I've got some money in the bank now. I closed a small friends and family angel round of investment earlier this year, and yeah, we are on the way to building our first product, where we have not launched. We've not. It's not downloadable, but it's we're still. It's early days. I have all the tools to make it work, and now I'm kind of researching and doing all the trying to get to a place where we can find product market fit.
When it comes to divorce, based on your experience, what do people don't foresee when they're starting that process?
And did you have a
I mean,
prenup?
I did not. And I think that that's just a whole. That's something that probably would have helped me in the process of my marriage. Because I think that when you do go through the process of a prenup, you kind of are educated about protecting yourself. And as a young Sindhi girl, I was not raised to be the breadwinner. I was not raised with like financial awareness, and I had money and I had assets and I had all these things, but I didn't a lot of that I didn't earn that money, so I wasn't probably as fierce about protecting it, and so I was very trusting, and I didn't, so I a prenup probably would have helped me, would have educated me essentially. I didn't have a prenup. I think when you go into these situations, you need, you need to be aware of what you're doing, and I probably wasn't.
It's good. Good thing my wife
How
doesn't listen to the podcast. We don't have a
do you
prenup
guys
either.
think prenups? Do you guys think prenups are still taboo in our culture or becoming more common?
Seems to me that they're becoming more common. Yeah, and I think they're a great thing, really,
I
because
think
it's
I think
yeah.
it's a very big taboo. Like Chandni and I didn't have that discussion, and I don't see how to have that conversation. I mean, her money's my money's her money. Everything we buy, we put both our names. I'm a bit, I won't say traditional or boring, but I'm earning income. She's not. No, she's also earning income, but she has her own account. I have my own account. I think things are changing. I think back in the day, our fathers would give our mothers an envelope with some cash and saying, "Okay, this is your budget for the month." Now my wife has a credit card, and I don't, unless I check the credit card statement, which I don't. I don't know how much she spent in the month. So
Mm.
things are changing, I think, quite fast, which is a good thing. I want to understand, like, the balls it takes to do this venture without, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have a technology background, you're not a developer, you're getting into a really competitive app development, website development. I think without a CTO, the chances of succeeding are so low that you either extremely naive or extremely ballsy. So which is it?
I think it's the latter, Amit. It's the latter. Yeah, I had a gut feeling. I followed it. It's really all I could have done at the time. I mean, I think entrepreneurship in general is about the unknown. It's about fear of the unknown. It's about being a problem solver. It's about kind of, knowing, it's about grit, determination, the dedication, also, not really giving up, persistence, all of these things. I think that I have many of those qualities, I would like to say, strength, resilience, determination. I might, at the point of also, if I have a business, I'm not going to be the smartest person in the room. I have to just make sure I can put the right people around the table and with a shared vision and a shared goal and get to that goal, right? I mean, the whole point is that I don't know all the answers, but together, with a good team, I can get to the right place. I mean, and that, a CTO, sure, I'll bring one on at the right time, but right now we also have to kind of be budget conscious and thinking about building the right technology at the right time. Technology is commoditized; we can change it, and whatever we build now with this, with this small amount of funding that we have, and fine, it's a few £100,000, but that won't take you that far if you're building a lot of technology. So we have to be scrappy. We have to have this startup mindset, and that's to find what sticks, and that's the journey we're on.
Tell me about the team, either that you've got today or the roles that you're looking for, in case anybody listening to wants to participate. And also, how are you thinking about making dollars in this product of yours?
Sure.
Business.
So yes, a bit how we yes. So one step by step. My team. So our team. I have. So I'm a founder, and I have a co-founder who's Ramesh. He's has a very strong operational background. Former CFO, former COO, like very strong operationally and strategically. He's a founding member of the team with me.
Based in the UK with you?
Yes, based in the UK,
okay.
Co-founding the business, and alongside him, we've filled the other kind of more high level roles with fractional staff. So I have a fractional CMO, I have a fractional product manager. Right now, I'm spending money on product and figuring out what is that first product that we build. So I think the product manager is the most important hire for us right now, and so we have quite a senior level product manager, and then I've got an LBS, London Business School MBA student who's part-time with me, and I have another part-time legal tech consultant. So between the two of them, I would say it's like one full-time mid-level person. So we've got about 5 people on the team, and yeah, and then we do a lot of so in terms of the business model. We're not quite sure yet what it will be, but we are looking to make this a sustainable, scalable business that we can take to other markets. So starting in the UK quite small, but then going out and seeing where we can where we can take this, because divorce is a global issue.
Sure.
We can take, if we're looking at the kind of coaching side of it, we can take that to other markets. So I haven't landed on our exact business model right now, but is it a percentage of transactions with the coaches? Is it a subscription model? Probably all of the above. So we'll get there.
What about timeline? Are you launching the product this year, or is this something you're going to do first quarter next year?
I would say first quarter next year. I would say we'd start building by the end of this year.
Okay.
You were going through a divorce. When did the idea pop into your head to do this, and what was your first step?
I remember exactly. I was sitting like on my bed and scrolling on Instagram, and I saw an ad for for an app called Peanut, which is an app that it's like a community-based app. Peanut. It's quite large here in the UK. I know they're in Latin America. I know they're in Canada, in the US. It's a like a networking app. It's kind of, they call it Tinder for mums. You swipe and you can, meet other mothers or women who are going through, there are so many issues that women go through, from, you know marriage, conception, fertility, menopause, pregnancy. And it's I saw an ad, and it said, find support, women, for women to find support and find people to talk to who are going through the same thing as you are. And I just thought, why can't I find somebody who's going through the same thing as I am, and that I can talk to and who might understand? Because there are millions of people who go through this, but it's very hard to understand what you're going through. Like, if you haven't been through it, it's quite hard. Or if somebody close to you has if, for example, you, Sabrina, if someone close to you had been through divorce, you might understand. But, for me to talk to somebody who's not been through it at all, they're not going to understand. You literally, when you go through this process, you throw your life in the air and you have no idea where the pieces are going to land, right? Your kids, your work, your business, your home, your family, you have no idea what it's going to look like at the other end. So, and people don't understand that when they enter this process. So I was sitting on my
Which
bed
reminds
and
me.
I saw
Yeah, which
Peanut and I
reminds me.
thought, I'm going to build it for this
That's
market.
awesome. Yeah.
It just
What
reminds me.
was, can I just ask, what was
Yeah.
that first step that
Um,
you took?
So my first step was, I have a good friend who's in the tech space here in London, and I went and I asked her for advice, and said, what do you think? Can I do it? And she said, yeah, you should go for it. Be brave and do it. There's nothing to stop you. And yeah, and those other founders, female founders in the space, that I would say that's where I found a lot of support and a lot of encouragement um, while on this journey, which is challenging. It's a challenging journey. As Amit said, I have no tech background, no tech background whatsoever, and I'm building
No,
a tech
maybe you
platform. So
did. I mean, we've not kept in touch, but maybe you
yeah,
did, and
no,
along the
no,
way, it's a good point. You mentioned, Nimrita, about losing somebody close to you, and you don't really know how you feel until that actually happens. In my case, my brother lost his wife to cancer, and it's one of the reasons why I'm living now in Chile. And I feel like my brother didn't express his feelings to me or anybody in the family. He's an introvert, and he kept it all to himself. And even though we're here now, I feel like when it actually happened and the pain and the suffering of the last year, he kind of went solo. And today he's a happy person, remarried, two new kids, and you know, life goes on. But it's an experience that one doesn't wish for anybody. And Sabrina herself, within the family, Sabrina's brother, he had a pretty rough breakup. So maybe Sabrina, I don't know how you felt about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was there for him emotionally, even though I didn't understand what he was going through. But growing up in Miami in the Sindhi community, his divorce was one of the first ones in that community, so it was tough also on my parents. And I know for all of us, it was where how do we help you? Where emotionally, legally, financially, so many questions. So I love that you've created this one-stop shop to help people going through this. Unfortunately, it came from like a negative part in your life, but I'm so happy to see that you've able to turn that around into something good.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
going to
I
say, I
think.
don't want to recommend your product to anybody, but
mm,
I might have to.
I mean, the stats aren't good, but hopefully you won't. I think it's about, almost 50% of marriages here in the UK do end in a separation. Yeah, I think that men especially find it hard to reach out for help and, emotion to talk about their emotions. So I think these kind of digital platforms might help them through that process as well. So we're definitely, but yeah, loss, divorce, these feelings of grief, they're quite similar processes that you go through. So yeah, it's difficult.
That's the reason
Do
why I'm
you
doing this
guys,
podcast. I'm reaching out to help through this medium.
do you guys think
Talking to as many people.
by the time our kids are of marriage age, do you think marriage will still be a sacred thing to get into for them?
I love the idea of marriage. I think it's wonderful if you find a person that you can, commit to growing together with and living your life together with, and, you can have a partnership with that person. I mean, I fully believe in the institution of marriage. I probably just was unlucky or made the wrong decision, was young. I think that marriage is wonderful. So I hope that my kids, do find that love and happiness and partnership more than anything else in life. So
I'm finding it's a good question, Sabrina. I'm finding, and I agree with what Nimrita just said. I'm finding that people are getting married, but they just don't want to have kids anymore, right? So, I mean, so many people we know, so many couples, and we're talking about couples in Bombay and India as well, not just in America and the West. The world is not a nice place to bring up children, pollution, global warming, financial stress, whatever reason. I've heard it all. Obviously, there are people who have fertility issues, and that's totally understandable. But in terms of not wanting to have children, I have three. Okay, fine, two should have been enough. But I find, I'm not going to go Elon Musk and have 10 kids with, or 11. I don't know how
with
many he's
seven
got.
different people.
With my
Yeah,
children.
is it 3 or 4 women he's got? Anyway, he
Yeah, I
probably
think
lost
at
track.
least, yeah.
To be honest with you, with what he's worth, he could have 20 more. It's not a problem, right? But I think I believe in the whole marriage, children. You take care of the kids until you can. When you cannot, your children will help you and take care of you. I love the whole circle of life. I enjoy it.
It's
I'm old
good.
school.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Okay.
do having a wiser voice.
Yeah. Um, Nimrita, we ask all our guests for their definition of success and whether that has evolved over time because of the experiences that they've gone through. I'd love to hear yours.
Definitely. My idea of success has evolved. I would say that now my idea of success is more about freedom to balance motherhood with business and working, financial freedom, also, peace of mind and the freedom that comes with that. I think that also success is, being able to work and to be challenged every day. Success is, being able to see obstacles in front of me as opportunities, and to being able to create opportunity with whatever's in front of me. I think that financial security is definitely something that is on my mind, and financial freedom for myself and my children. Yeah, many ideas of success, but also, I think peace equals success for me. And yeah, hope that's clear. I hope I have. I'm not sure if I'm
Very
very.
clear. Crystal
Yeah,
clear.
it's
Okay.
very clear. You said that your idea on success has changed. What was it before?
um, so when I was young, I was very academic as a child. I, went to great schools, but yeah, I went to great schools, but I come from quite a traditional family, I would say. Like many of my cousins and the girls in my family, they don't work, and we weren't really raised to be go and all the boys in my school went to business school, but they've gone to Harvard Business School and Penn and Michigan and God knows where. I went to the best schools in the country, and I was never encouraged to go to Harvard Business School, or and I went to a very good university. Success for
Georgetown,
me
correct?
probably was, get married and have children, and create a family. And I was never really encouraged to do both. Go, sure, find your family, have your family, but also use your brain and put yourself to work, put your brain to work, put your use the tools that you have, your God-given talents and tools to go and create something. I mean, I was never really encouraged that way. And that's not through anybody's fault. It's just, it's how it's cultural. So my idea of success has drastically changed in the past 20 years.
I agree.
I could see that. Yeah.
I think we're going to send this episode to the dean of Harvard Business School afterwards.
Yes,
He's a
I'd love.
he's a friend of the pod.
I need a spot.
Yeah, the dean of Harvard Business School. He
Yeah.
watches all the episodes. So
Good. I'm glad.
that's great. What about sources of inspiration? Like, who's been the role model? Who are you looking up to today? Is it the Jay Shettys of the world, or Tony Robbins, or like who are you
Yes,
looking
both
at
of
in
the
terms of role models?
above. Both of the above. I mean, I do spend a lot of time on my self-care and like mental well-being. I obviously through this process, like I've grieved the loss of my father, and I've, he died 2.5 years ago. I've gone through a divorce. These are like, and I've had to move house. I've, had to sell property, like things which, these are huge life-changing seismic events in life, and I've really had to put a lot of and I've been through some pretty low periods. So I definitely listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I try to have I have a gratitude practice, meditation, in terms of I do listen to a lot of podcasts. I tend to like walk and listen to podcasts, as much of a cliche as that is. I listen to Mel Robbins, I listen to Jay Shetty, I listen to Mo Gaudat, I listen to Tony Robbins, I listen to Rangan Chatterjee, I consume a lot of this self-help stuff, and it is very inspirational. And then I look around me for inspiration to other women who have kind of been through difficulties and who have come out to create businesses, to raise their children, to provide for their children, to provide for their families. And I take huge inspiration in people who've come before me, and other people's success I really take as inspiration. And there's evidence that proves to me that it can be done with focus, consistency, determination. So
Sure.
that's
Jay Shetty is the one guy that I'm not able to see his YouTube. I follow podcasts mainly on YouTube, but Jay Shetty, whenever I see him and his eyes, I get sucked
really?
in.
Yeah, he
And
hypnotizes you.
I'm like, he's an alien. He's definitely not human.
Yeah.
He's so smooth.
Yes.
Sabrina, have you seen Jay Shetty's eyes? I
Yeah.
can't even call them
They're
blue.
very blue,
They're
bluey
like,
green. And his wife has the same color
they're
eyes.
just
It
they're
does.
disgusting.
It's the same color eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I
two
honestly feel
Indian
like they're
people
alien
married to
couple.
each other with green eyes. I mean, who would have
Yeah.
thought? What are the
Yeah.
odds?
Do they have
They're very
kids?
low odds.
I've never.
I don't. Not yet.
Do they have kids?
Not yet. No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
Jay and
Can
Radhi,
you
I
tell
feel
us
like
something
they're my
about your
friends.
kids, Nimrita? Tell us something about your children. How old are they?
Sure. I have a 12-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl. They are, my kids are great. They are, literally the reason I get up every day. They're great. They've been through quite a lot, but I think that I've done my best to give them consistency and happiness, and just be a rock for them through this process. So they're great. My son loves football. He's taller than me. He's like almost 5'9", 5'10". He's 12. He's a sporty, lovely boy. And my daughter's she is a tough cookie, and she's full of fun as well, and the life of the party in general. They're great. I'm really blessed with the kids.
So you have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. I want to know like what they've gone through with the divorce. Plus, they've lost their grandparents. So how have they been managed the roller coaster of emotions, do you see any changes in them visibly?
So yeah, so at the when this all kind of started, we were staying with my dad, and then I lost my dad, they lost their grandfather, and at the same time they went through this their parents separation. um I have a really I have a strong support system in London. I have family here. I grew up here. I was born here. I went to school here. So I've got lots of friends and family, and I really just did my best to surround them with all of my friends and family, and just to kind of create normalcy for them. I would take them to my aunt and uncle's house every week and spend time with my cousins, and my sister is here. And I just really, I kind of just, for them and for me also, we just needed our people around us at that time. So I really leaned on the people around me. And I think that that has helped them and me through the process, because, they've got a lot of family around. And also, I was quite I kept them in their same schools. I stayed in the same area of London. Like, I had to move house, but I didn't move like to a different area. I kept everything about their day-to-day routine. I kept the same. And so it was really, I just kept it as much normalcy and as much consistency as I could for them. And I think, they they're really resilient and adaptable kids. I mean, children are, right, very adaptable. And also, we have a therapist, and I've, make sure that they talk through their whatever's happening, and they feel that they have a safe space and a safe person to talk to. And I told the schools about what was happening. And I just, I think communication is just, of the utmost importance, and for them to be able to communicate with me, and for them to feel safe enough to do so. And, if they don't want to tell me something, there are people that they can talk to, right? Whether that's at school or a family therapist or whatever. So, I've done my best. I think I've done the best that I could do with to kind of give them stability, and to give them, as much
That's awesome.
consistency as possible.
Credit to you. I mean, you seem to have made the right decisions. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been challenging. It's been really hard, but it's probably me who's most. I probably, yeah. I think sometimes they get tired of me more than anything else. Like,
Nimrita,
God, she's
is there
sorry.
anything in your past that you would change? Like something in your journey in the past that you would change that has brought you to where you are today?
Everything.
Would I change everything? No, I think, you know
No,
what? Of course, I feel that, no, I mean, of course, I feel that there are things which I wish could have happened differently, but at the end of the day, that's your journey, right? The choice, life is about choices. Perhaps I made choices I shouldn't have. I don't know, but I'm on my journey. You're on your journey. This is where I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't been through all of those things. So, you know, I try not to regret. I do regret, but I try not to. So, this is all part of self-awareness and growing as a person. And, you've just got to do the best you can with where you are, is
You know,
what I
when
think.
I think of you and I think success, I think a person who's overcome so many obstacles to find, peace, happiness, like you said, and to start a venture to help others not go through some of the negativity she went through. I think that's so successful, and I'm so happy to share this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
how,
I'm really, yeah,
can I
grateful.
ask how old are you? Or man's never meant to ask that question.
It's okay. I'm 42. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
you've had a
42.
full you've had a full, I won't say a full
Yeah,
life, but you've had
I'm a bit
a
tired. Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen a lot of life, right? I've seen death, I've seen divorce, I've seen, I've lost both my parents. By the age of 39, I'd lost both my parents. So,
yeah,
that's been challenging for sure. It's very different to a lot of my peers and friends. I don't
yeah.
know. I think I know maybe one person who's in the same position as me at my age. Um, so yeah, it's very different to people around me, and even people I grew up with, in my community. So
Yeah, I think you're incredible. I think you're very brave for even having this conversation openly, being Indian slash Sindhi, and how Sindhi mentality. I think you've just broken that mentality with your guts, and I hope this carries on. I do want to move into a more lighter round of the interview. I want to move into a rapid fire,
Oh,
if that's
gosh.
okay with you.
Sure.
I want to go into something a bit more positive, which is something. Let's talk about laughing. Whenever he has that scene where he wraps the snowball and he throws it at her face, and her reaction, thinking it's like a game, and then it's more like a war. I just can't stop laughing. Even if I try not to laugh, I laugh. What is that? What is that for you? What or who, whenever you meet, makes you laugh?
I mean, I have to say it's my kids, my daughter especially. She makes me laugh a lot. She's just comes out with these hilarious things. My son and I will sit there next to each other and just like start laughing with each other about something she's done or said. Like she'll start going around the house like calling me granny because like she's like got a doll who's a daughter and I'm the grandmother apparently, and like she's got I mean just the things which happen. I don't know, there's my kids make me laugh.
That's great. If you could have any tech expert, entrepreneur in history on your team, who would it be?
And not Elon Musk.
Gosh, not Elon Musk. I mean, I probably would choose somebody like Michelle Kennedy, who's, built this app, Peanut. She was my inspiration for building it. I mean, she's, strong and she's done something. Yeah. Or maybe Steve Jobs. I don't know. I'd have all of them. I'd have lists like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, have put them all on the team.
It's good. It's a good one.
Yeah. My first thought when we decided to ask that question was Steve
Really?
Jobs.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, just reinvented. I mean, look at this. Like, just reinvented the way we use cell phones, We communicate.
Celebrity crush.
My gosh, these are so hard. I don't have a celebrity crush, Amit.
That's impossible. Impossible. That's Sabrina. Sabrina, give your celebrity crush, so you can give her an
What about
idea.
Matthew McConaughey? He is my celebrity crush. I think I really like him. I've just read
Sabrina?
his book. I'm into it.
Sabrina, what's your celebrity crush? Who is he?
I said it used to be George Clooney until he got married. And I did meet him when I lived in Washington, D.C. It was
To Amal.
one of my wow moments. Yeah, before he married Amal. But, now it's always like some athlete, like Tim Howard of the U.S. men's soccer team. He was the former goalie. So
great.
I still have him on my list.
My wife.
You?
My wife.
Oh, she's just, that's you.
Stop it.
No, there's too many.
Who's his is?
No, there's too many. There's Michelle Pfeiffer, Natalie Portman.
Can you hear me? I said
I
I actually know
Kendall.
who's his is.
Kendall Jenner. Kendall Jenner is not bad. Yeah, I like Kendall.
Kendall Jenner.
She's inspirational. She both in Kylie's like, I mean, look at that huge empire.
They're the whole family. The whole family, is incredible what they've built.
Really,
so,
yeah.
Sabrina doesn't like them, but it's okay.
One thing on your bucket list you want to check off next?
I want to go. I just want to travel a bit more with my kids. I said this. Yeah, I always say this. I want to go on like safari with them. I want to go diving with them. I want to go, do more trips with them, like adventure type trips. I love doing adventurous stuff in general, and I love going to theme parks and doing all that kind of stuff. And I just want to do fun adventure holidays with my kids. Like I want to go, backpacking around Europe with them. That's like I've given you like 4 things that I want to do.
It's okay.
So not rapid, but
they're all good. They're all good. Okay, and if you had a dinner date with either Jay Shetty, Tony, or Mel Robbins, who would you choose for dinner and why?
Either. I mean, I would probably go with Mel Robbins. I love her.
Why?
I mean,
why her?
she's overcome adversity, as also she's come out of a lot of debt. She's created this, huge award-winning podcast, from her home in Vermont. I mean, she's done, she's really, I love her 5 second rule. I love her like high five the mirror rule. I just love all her little tips and tricks, and, which I do all the time. So I really, I think she'd be a great mentor. So
Sabrina, before you ask, I need to know what the 5 second rule is. You can't let us go like that.
Yeah. I just wrote that down so I could look
you
it
don't
up.
think about something like if you're lying in bed and you're like, okay, I'm going to work out. You don't let yourself stay there for more than 5 seconds. So if the thought is in your head, like, okay, I'm going to get up and work out, you're like, within 5 seconds, you get up and do it.
That's great.
Because otherwise, so you don't give yourself you're not giving yourself time to second guess yourself or to have second thoughts or think about it too much. You just get up and do it.
It happens for me when I go to the gym. I say I'm going to go to the gym, and 20 minutes later, I find excuses not to go to the gym.
Yeah, like you're sitting on Instagram for 20 minutes or something. I mean, it's like there are these things like you end up procrastinating, and
it sounds like such a basic idea, but it's brilliant,
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And then she also says to high five yourself in the mirror. Like whenever you see a mirror, high five yourself. Be like, you're amazing. Yeah.
I see a camera.
I love that.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. Like, you're good. You can do this.
I love that. Okay.
Sabrina will never rise. Sabrina will never rise. We high five each other. We high five each other all day. Nimrita, my family is very, we love each other a bit too much.
Oh, yeah. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Humble is not a word.
Yeah. Humble is not a word that's in our vocab.
Oh.
Okay.
Last one.
Yes. An affirmation that you want to leave with us today.
I would say you are exactly where you are meant to be. Mm-hmm. That's my affirmation.
Yeah.
I feel like that brought you right to pivot, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess it just tells you can't second guess, and you can't, regret where you are. I mean, what can you do? You have to just accept it all.
I want to thank also a previous guest of ours, Kanika Gupta, one of our besties. Since we stole a couple of the rapid fire questions from her last interview, we thought we should mention it. Thank you, Kanika. I think, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Nimrita. Is there anything you'd like to mention?
No, I'm great. It's been a great chat. Yep.
What about how does someone reach out to you? Twitter,
sure.
Instagram, LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on, I would say LinkedIn is probably best, Nimrita Dadlani. And, sign up to www.pivot.support to get on our waitlist. And
Pivot.support.
Yeah, pivot.support for updates and information. Yeah. Otherwise, I generally am on LinkedIn.
I just want to say thank you so much again. I said it earlier. You're brave. I think I said before you had big balls, but basically you're gutsy. And I think I don't have a daughter, but I think if I had a daughter, I'd want her to be and show the same values that you have. And I'd like to meet your children, and hopefully your children and my children also become friends sometime. And next time I'm in London, I will call you when I'm in Regent's Park to go hang out.
You must.
Yeah. And really thank you. And I look forward to, sharing your content with our subscribers and having you back hopefully next year to tell us more about the success of Pivot.
Thank you so much, Amit. It's been really a pleasure, and I'm very grateful that you've, asked me to be on here, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. So thank you. Both of you. Sorry, Amit and Sabrina.
No, of course. And I wanted to tell you, in my husband and I have a tax business, and I can't tell you how many times people ask us when they sit about advice, relationship advice, or advice on divorce. And even on social media groups I'm a part of, like moms groups, so many people asking for questions. So, I think that what you're putting together is not just brilliant, but it's so compassionate, and I can't wait to share it as well. So Thank you so much for being here. Everyone, this has been another episode of Indian Explorers, and we love the success of our guest. Please subscribe and share it with others. Thank you.